movie. I hope someone's not getting murdered. Something is weird with my hair and the angle and everything, but that's okay. I'm here, we're doing it. Hi, it's Adam with another quick instant movie review for you. So tonight I saw the brand new film from director-writer Gene Stupinski. I'm going to run with that. It's called No Hard Feelings. It stars Jennifer Lawrence and Andrew Barth Feldman. Well, what's this one all about? Well, Lawrence plays Maddie. She lives in this little seaside town of Montauk in New England, where she has lived her whole life. She grew up there. Her mum, when she passed, left her a house, which she's been desperately trying to keep hold of. But land taxes and taxes in general keep strangling the debt on the house, and she's basically trying to make bank by doing Uber driving for rich tourists when they come and visit this beautiful little seaside town during the summer. However, when her car gets repossessed, she is stuck, and her friends suggest to her, after finding an ad on Craigslist, that she should do the following: that a 30-something-year-old lady herself, Maddie, should help a young 19-year-old boy, Percy, come out of his shell before going to Princeton to study. So this is an ad that parents of a child, has put on Craigslist as a service that they require. So Maddie looks at it and she goes, well, the payment for this is to get a brand new car, which is going to in turn help me restart my Uber driving, which in turn will help me pay off the land taxes, which in turn will help me keep my house. A long-winded way around it. So this, just in case you didn't know, is not a horror film. It is it's a comedy. It is a adult, raunchy comedy, starring Academy Award winner Jennifer Lawrence. And I guess that's the hook. So the director and his co-writer, John Phillips, wrote this film with Jennifer Lawrence in mind. And if she didn't do it, then I don't know what they'd do. But their previous writing efforts include Good Boys, which was a raunchy comedy about young pre-adolescent boys doing weird stuff, and Bad Teacher, which starred Cameron Diaz. I think that was one of her last films, actually, back in 2011. And that too was a raunchy comedy. And this film is not too far from both of those efforts, really. Probably further into the Bad Teacher camp, where, you know, you have someone of a certain amount of cred come in and play a bit of a I think slutty girl is probably the wrong terminology, but a girl that will stop at nothing, or a lady that will stop at nothing to help make money and somehow find some moral lessons along the way. And No Hard Feelings is pretty much that film. One thing I will say is the chemistry between Andrew Barth Feldman and Jennifer Lawrence is palpable. They clearly are having a good time making this film, and the chemistry test that they did prior to going into filming obviously worked, because the two kind of work nicely off each other, and you can see that the two would very much be buddies, even though there's a massive age difference in there. I mean, that's a little bit, you know, whatevs. But yeah, Matthew Broderick turns up in this film as the father of Percy, which is he's quite a fun role for him, and it's always nice to see Matthew Broderick up on the big screen. And Jennifer Lawrence is actually great in this film. I thought that she was extremely great to look at, and there is a beach scene in this that will stay in my mind for quite a long time. In fact, she has a great time. There's some great comic chops that she puts out in this film, and I really am happy to see her back on the big screen. She wasn't going to do this film. It was about she was going to take a fair bit of time off acting. I think Stillwater was her last film that she did, which was an Apple Plus movie. And this one she was not going to do because she'd just become a mother, so she was going to take a fair bit of time off, but the script was so good. The premise is based on a real life premise, so it's not that far from the truth. It's actually something that the director and the writer found and went, oh, this is hilarious, and shared it with Lawrence ages ago, and then came up with a script and said, you need to make this. So I guess the good points about this is, as I said, Jennifer Lawrence is great, and Andrew Barth Feldman is really, really good in the role as well. A few things that I found were a little bit funny is the tone very much shifts in this film. About halfway through, we start to hit a little bit of moral ground coming through, and I suppose that's kind of, is kind of the way it was going to snake around, which happens. There's, as far as a raunchy comedy, I'd say that there isn't an overly huge amount of raunchy comedy. I'm going back and thinking about things like, American Pie, which back in the day was the raunchy comedy, or Porky's, and, those sort of films, they are challenged, I suppose. They are films very much of their time, and to judge them on not being appropriate now is kind of a bit like saying, well, we'd have to scrap the entire amounts of history in order to make them politically correct. So I guess this film does very much feel like a film of its time. It's not overly raunchy. There is some really fun scenes, and I suppose that's the thing that really keeps this film going. It sets itself up as a real big swear fest. I didn't think there was that much swearing in it. Maybe it's because it wasn't in a huge row. But overall, I think if you're after a good fun night out, and there are some really big laugh out loud moments, and that's because Jennifer Lawrence is an absolute champion, and she is great in this part. So yeah, the ending does feel a little bit and it's interesting where we sort of end up and where we sort of go. So yeah, overall it's a fun movie. I hope someone's not getting murdered. If they are, I guess we could put this in for, that's definitely a child. This just got really dark. Anyway, I'm going to give a rating so I can go and save whatever's going on out there. I'm going to give No Hard Feelings a 6 out of 10. It was a good, funny movie that definitely ticked the box. And Jennifer Lawrence was great. So, no hard feelings. I'm now going to go and save whatever's going on or drive away really fast. Okay. I think I'll just drive away. Bye.